lawful directives, incorporating lawful directives into the actual evaluation of the superintendent. Right now, the board only evaluates the superintendent. As the noted philosopher Gomer Pyle once said, surprise, surprise, surprise. There is a different way. You can also hold the superintendent accountable for what programs he recommends, what programs he pushes down to the classroom, and you can also hold him accountable for the work of his people and his administrators if you do it the right way. You have to do it the right way. Otherwise, they're going to hand the head to the reformers of the community. 1, it should be a lawful directive that the school board says, dear superintendent, produce for me a report that shows how many days classroom teachers were called out of the classroom for staff development during the classroom years, and how many substitute teachers were assigned for those teachers pulled out of the classroom. Right now, the school board has see no evil, hear no evil. That's their approach. Yet a school board has a right to say, Mr. Superintendent, we want to know how many hours, how many days you pulled classroom teachers out. And then we want to know, we want you to produce a report, statistically valid, that shows the impact that that policy had on incremental gains in student academic performance. We hold these truths to be self-evident. It's good for our country. But is it good enough for the center of truth? Is it good enough for the new center of gravity? Does the superintendent of schools just get to say, we're going to pull you out? Enormous numbers of days that classroom teachers and this board and boards across the state of Texas have never said, does it improve student academic performance? And Elizabeth Clark or whatever administrator would trot out, and they would say, well, yes, it does. Prove it. We have test results, we have scores, prove the incremental gain. That's one way you begin restoring the center of gravity to the classroom. Professional learning community, let me use that as an example. We had Elizabeth Clark, A.J. Durrani's campaign treasurer, and she was the mother of professional learning community. And in case you do not know what the professional learning community is, it is a philosophy and strategy of education. And in a professional learning community, the focus is on learning. In a traditional school, the focus is on teaching. And it is in the context of that cliched brilliance that the decline of Western civilization continues. We have had hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, of direct and indirect cost associated with the implementation of professional learning community. Not one time has the board said, produce for me a report, the cost-benefit analysis of professional learning community. Show me how professional learning community has improved the student academic performance, and I want an incremental. Our test scores went up 6 points. I want to know what percentage of that you're allocating explicitly to professional learning community. That is another way that you start restoring the center of gravity to the classroom. You hold the superintendent and his administration responsible not for what they say, not for their arrogant belief that we hold these truths to be self-evident, but an empirical documentation that remotely resembles that their truth is in fact remotely true. Right now, I'm going to digress here for a second. I made a note and I'm going to undo it. 2 years ago, we had a consultant come in and convince the administration that they needed to do across the curriculum, that language teachers needed to teach science passages so that we would have improved science scores. Not an ounce of credibility, not an ounce of research to indicate, but they bought $50,000 worth of curriculum materials. And they gave these books to the 6th and 7th and 8th grade teachers, and they said, we want you to teach these science passages. And they were little bitty booklets about like this. They were stories on Madame Curie and other science topics. The only problem was these were 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and Lexile, which is a very good readability measure, comprehension. Lexile said these books were at the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade level. So these brainchilds, these brainiacs, distributed reading material at the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th grade level to help 6th, 7th, and 8th graders learn more about science. And the school board let them get by with it. Now I'm saying if you restore the center of gravity and you focus on the superintendent's contract, then those sorts of programs, when they come about, have to have their own standard of empirical evaluation, and they must be incorporated into the contract of the superintendent of schools.